Much like what's happened in our food system, our information diet has become toxic. The news and social media we consume is filled with half-truths, anger-generating sound bites, and mind-numbing nonsense that either spaces us out or riles us up, and it's all designed to lure us back for more. It's time to take back control, and this podcast is a 5-minute step in the right direction. 3 days a week, I'll share a short story to help renew your belief in the people and the world around you. Monday, a story from the past. Wednesday, the present. And Friday, you'll head into the weekend with a story to keep you optimistic about our future. Hi, I'm Chris. Welcome to My Good 3. All right, happy Wednesday. If you're like me, you've heard a lot in the last year or so about tipping culture in the United States being completely out of control. Years ago, our tipping was limited to the 15 or 20% tip we gave when we were satisfied with the service at a restaurant or bar or food delivery. There was always the option of dropping your spare change into a jar at the register of your favorite local spot, which was fine because it always felt optional and it was a little way to show support for local businesses. But these days, with digital transactions, tipping has suddenly morphed into something else altogether, where software systems include tipping options regardless of the business or level of service. 20, 25, and 30% tips recommended when buying a pack of gum at a convenience store, or in an airport when purchasing a banana at a self-checkout kiosk. It's bananas. The result of all these businesses trying to add a revenue stream with tips, besides it being confusing for Americans, is it can cause customers to get frustrated and dial back their tipping for all transactions, including tips for people who actually rely on them to make a living. This is a story about someone in one of these jobs who, after receiving a terrible tip delivering pizza in a snowstorm, happened to bump into the right person at the right time. "20-year-old Connor Stefanoff lives with his grandmother in Brownsburg, Indiana, a western suburb of Indianapolis. To make ends meet, he borrows her sedan and delivers pizza for a local pizza restaurant, Rockstar Pizza. On this day in mid-January, the Midwest was hit with a significant snowstorm, and even though the restaurant was open, the blizzard-like conditions meant that he wasn't required to head into work. Still, Connor was determined to make some money that day, so he took the risk. He jumped in his grandmother's car and navigated the dangerous, snowy conditions to the restaurant. One of his deliveries that day was a $40 pizza order to one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the area. When he arrived at the neighborhood, he noticed a school bus was at the bottom of the hill, blocking the street after losing its traction and sliding sideways, and it was surrounded by people and police officers. Rather than risk driving his grandmother's car down the hill toward the bus to deliver the pizza, he figured he'd park at the top of the hill and walk the pizza down through the snow to be safe. Wearing nothing but a sweatshirt and sweatpants with tennis shoes, Connor trudged his way along with his head down, trying to get through the tough conditions and deliver the order. As he labored past one of the policemen, Lieutenant Richard Craig, the officer was alarmed at what Connor was wearing and where he was going. They talked for a bit, with Officer Craig now interested in the details of the delivery since the conditions were bad and the young man was risking his safety driving a small sedan. He was disheartened to learn that Connor only received a $2 tip on the $40 order. Connor shook it off. He said it was still his job to make the delivery, and he continued on through the snow to the house, not wanting to make a big deal about the tip. Officer Craig couldn't believe it. Of course, wrongful tipping is not an enforceable offense, but he thought something needed to be done. So, when Connor walked back after the delivery, he handed him $15 because he liked the way Connor handled himself and he wanted him to have something. Then it dawned on Officer Craig. As the public information officer for the department, he was someone with a large TikTok presence, often posting entertaining videos of his job. So he thought he'd see what his followers might be able to do to support the young man. He took the body cam footage of their interaction, combined with his own video plea for support, set up a GoFundMe page, and shared the info with his followers to see if he could get Connor a little extra help. he found more than a few tips. There was an outpouring of support for Connor. The story spread across the internet, and as of now, the crowdfunding effort has raised over $40,000 from thousands of people making small donations. Connor says he plans to get his own car with the money, and if there's some left over, he can help his grandmother with the bills. I think most people would agree that tipping culture is a mess, but we can't forget the instances when good tipping is essential for certain people to pay the bills. A big thumbs up to Lieutenant Richard Craig, Public Information Officer at Avon Schools Police Department, who went well out of his way to take care of someone in his community and bring an important issue to light. Officer Craig said it best in an online video talking about what happened for Connor, and maybe it should apply for him as well. He said, "Good things come to good people who do the right thing." Thank you for listening. I realize this podcast won't be successful without your help. So if you'd like to rate it, or better yet, review it, wherever you get your podcasts, that would really help. And if you're on Instagram, go to @mygood3, THREE, to vote each episode up or down. I'm also excited to read more Good 3 stories from listeners. So just go to our website, mygood3.com, and submit a story of your own from the past, present, or future, or all three. And maybe I'll use it in an episode. Thanks again. Here's to hoping My Good 3 can set the stage for your good week.